Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I have an exciting video that I've been meaning to make for a while, but I've just been too busy. And today we're going to be looking at an exciting new computer called the Aquarius Plus Mini, or the AQ Plus Mini. So as you may have seen from my previous videos where I talked about the Aquarius Plus computer, which is a new reimagining of the original Aquarius computer. And if you're not familiar with the original Aquarius computer, I'll just show that to you now. It is right here. This is the original Aquarius computer, released in 1983. It wasn't very successful, and actually Mattel, who was selling this originally, gave the rights back to Radifin, which was the manufacturer, and they continued on selling it for a while longer, but it still wasn't a very successful computer. And if you're familiar with this computer, you'll know that it has some serious limitations, particularly in terms of memory and graphics capabilities. It does have a built-in character set, but they're not reprogrammable, so the capabilities are quite limited for developing games and programs. But recently, Sean Harrington and Frank Vandenhoof, and I think one or two others, ingeniously came up with a new version of the original Aquarius, which is called the Aquarius Plus. And I happen to have one right here, which I can show you. And mine has some stickers on it, because all good computers should have stickers. So I've got a killer cupcake sticker and a UFO sticker. And this is the original Aquarius Plus computer that you may have seen in my previous videos. And this is an amazing advancement over the original Aquarius computer, which you'll know if you take a look at my previous videos. It has enhanced capabilities, it has more memory, it has modern SD card storage capabilities, it has AOI sound chips built in, it has a ton of capabilities, sprites, graphics, you name it, it's got it. It is the perfect development computer for bedroom coders, people who are interested in a new modern retro system that is an enhancement of an original vintage system. And this certainly is. This is a fantastic computer, particularly for developers, as well as people who want to just play games, bedroom coding, whatever. So we took a look at this system before, and as you can see, it says Aquarius Plus on the top there. It has a really nice case design. It looks really professional, super smooth, has a really nice finish to it. And on the front here, we've got an SD card slot, we've got a power LED, we've got a couple of controller ports right here. On this side here, we have a cartridge slot that fits, I believe, all of the original cartridges that were developed for the original Aquarius, although some of the newer cartridges that were developed in modern times may or may not fit, I think, depending on what enclosure they use to make the cartridge and which particular connector is installed on the PCB. I'm not sure, but I believe there was an issue with maybe some of the cartridges, the modern cartridges, not fitting in this particular design. But in any case, there is a cartridge slot there. And on the back, we have a power switch. We have our video out that allows you to connect it to a modern video display instead of the RF connector that was on the original Aquarius computer. And you can use a HDMI converter to even connect this to HDMI video displays if you want. We have an audio out port right here. Here is a USB port for connecting a keyboard and possibly even a mouse. I'm not sure, but I think it may be compatible with splitters or USB dongles that use both a keyboard and a mouse, but I know for sure it works with a USB keyboard. And here we have a USB power input connector. And then on the side we have ports for the cassette. So recording and saving cassette programs can be done with this system through these ports. And this is the original Aquarius Plus that was developed recently. It's a fantastic system, and it's a lot of fun to develop for, and I highly recommend checking it out if you're at all interested in a modern retro system. Now, today's video is going to look at the even newer version of this system, which is the Aquarius Plus Mini, which I have right here. I haven't even unboxed it yet. I've just been so busy, but today we have time, and today we're going to unbox it and take a look at it and see what we have. So you can see right here on the box, it even says AQ Plus Mini, I guess number 37, and I think this is Sean's signature So even the cardboard box is serial numbered and signed, so it's pretty cool. And now let's go ahead and open it up and take a look. All right, so inside we have a paper, first of all. And the paper has a link to a GitHub repository that will give you some information to help you get started with this AQ Plus Mini. And let's see what else we have in the box. So here we have a USB power cable, which is going to power this AQ Plus Mini computer. And then finally, we have the AQ Plus Mini itself. And let's take a look. And this is a really cute, compact design. I mean, the original Aquarius Plus computer was already pretty compact as far as I was concerned, but this one is even more compact. You can see the size difference here with the Aquarius Plus and the Aquarius Plus Mini. So it's even smaller and more compact. And both of these cases look incredible. They look super professional. They're really smooth. They fit together super nicely. It looks like on the back of mine, and this certainly isn't a complaint, but it looks like there's a tiny bit of flex on the back part just near the audio output port. So this, like I said, this certainly isn't a complaint, and of course it's not going to affect the operation of this at all. I'm just wondering if there might be maybe an easy fix to perhaps add another screw mount in there, that, or some other way to reduce the flex a little bit. But this, it's a very minor issue, but just thought I'd pass that on to Sean and whoever might be interested in seeing if there's an easy fix for that, if it's even worthwhile looking at, because like I said, it's such a minor thing. And aside from that, this case looks and feels really nice. It feels like better than the original Aquarius computer finish, in my opinion. It's super smooth. It feels really sturdy and nice. It looks and feels incredible. It looks professional. So let's go ahead and take a look at this case. And you can see on the top here we have the Aquarius Plus logo, which is actually recessed into the enclosure. It looks really nice. And on the sides here you can see there are no ports, because the whole point of this project is to create a more compact design by eliminating some features that are not critical to the system. And one of those features is the cartridge slot. So there weren't very many cartridges developed for this system, and there have been a couple modern cartridges developed for it, but even still, I don't think there are going to be very many more cartridges developed for it. And most of the programs and games that you're going to be running on it, you're going to be putting on the SD card. So I don't think a cartridge port is necessary. I certainly won't be using it very much. So I think that's a good elimination for the designers that they did. And let's see what else. So on the front here, let's just compare the two. On the front of the case, you can see the original Aquarius Plus has a power light, if I can line them up, has a power light and SD card slot. Same with the AQ Plus Mini, but you can see there are no controller ports on the front of the AQ Plus Mini. And there's a good reason for that, because the AQ Plus Mini, and I believe also the regular Aquarius Plus, can both connect to modern Bluetooth controllers that use low energy Bluetooth, or BLE, such as the modern Xbox controller, which I actually have one on order, which should be arriving sometime today. So once I get that, we're going to go ahead and try and pair it up with these system and test it out. But you can see this AQ Plus Mini has no physical controller ports on it, but you can pair it up with modern Bluetooth controllers such as Xbox controller. And let's see what else. So on the side, we no longer have the cassette tape connectors for saving and loading programs. Again, you're going to be using your SD card for saving and loading programs. And we already took a look at the side where the cartridge slot would be. There is no cartridge slot on the Mini, but on the back you can see that the ports are pretty much, well, they're exactly the same. We've got our power switch, we have our video out, we have our audio out, USB port for connecting a keyboard, and I think also a mouse, I'm not sure, but for sure a keyboard. And then we have our power in USB connector. All right, so there we go. We have, oh, and the back I'll just show you as well. On the back we have our sticker. Just like on the Aquarius Plus, we have our badge for the Aquarius Plus and Aquarius Plus Mini. Next generation Z80 based retro computer system, and there's a serial number, and it looks like my system was manufactured on Valentine's Day. So I guess this is the special edition Valentine's edition of this computer. That'd be cool. There should be a little heart embossed on it somewhere. So mine happened to be made on February 14th, 2024. And there's Sean's signature right there. All right, so it's a fantastic little computer. It's even more compact than the original Aquarius Plus, but it has all the same features minus those physical ports that we took a look at. And we're going to take a look at some resources for it next. But before I get into that, and I'm not going to go into all the technical specifications and all the programming capabilities and all that, but a couple things I do want to mention to you. One is that when I'm looking for a system to develop games for, I have a couple different criteria that I look at for deciding which systems I'm going to be interested in developing for. And one of those criteria is to see if there's an active community around that particular system. And this one does have an active community, and it has a lot of intelligent, really smart people in there, really clever people, and there's already been some modern games developed for this. For example, Mac made a Jetpack game for this computer, a version of Jetpack, really amazing game, and there's been other games that have been developed and I'm sure are in development. And so this has a fantastic community full of positive people, which is not what you can say about all retro computer communities, but the Aquarius community has a really great group of people. So you can find them on Facebook. There's a Facebook group for both the Aquarius and the Aquarius Plus computers. And the other thing I look for in deciding what computers to develop for is, do they have technical capabilities that make it attractive for development? And this certainly does. It has hardware sprites, which is amazing. It has fantastic graphics capabilities. It has dual AY sound chips, so fantastic sound capabilities. It has modern SD card storage, which is great. You can connect it to wireless Bluetooth controllers such as the Xbox controller. And it also has something which is really cool, which is a turbo mode. So this contains a Z80 CPU, which normally runs at 3.5 megahertz, but with a turbo mode enabled, that speed doubles to 7 megahertz. So that really gives it some extra speed. If you're a bedroom coder and wanting to develop basic programs for this, you're going to be able to get some good performance out of it, even using BASIC. As well as, of course, if you're using machine code, then it's really going to execute super quickly. Now, one last thing I want to mention is the BASIC that is used for this. Because when you're programming, obviously you need to use some sort of programming language. Most people are familiar with BASIC. It's probably the easiest and most familiar language for people to learn when they're learning to program. And this thing has a version of BASIC that's actually in active development. It's called plusBASIC, and it's being developed by Curtis, and he's doing a fantastic job putting all kinds of incredible features and enhancements and new commands into the version of BASIC that this system is using. And it's constantly being upgraded in development. So by the time we start actually developing basic games for this thing, there are going to be a ton of, and there already are, a ton of really powerful commands that we can use in plusBASIC to program this thing. Okay, so that should kind of whet your appetite for using one of these computers. And now let's take a look at some resources that are available for this incredible system, as well as where you can get your own Aquarius Plus Mini and Aquarius Plus computer. So let's switch over the screen and we'll take a look at those right now. All right, so now let's take a look at some of the resources available for this Aquarius Plus Mini and the Aquarius Plus for that matter. So the first website we want to take a look at is this one here, which is Sean Harrington's website, who was the one who sent me this computer. So I'm really happy to have this computer, as well as the original Aquarius Plus. Both of these computers are absolutely amazing, and I recommend you check them out if you're at all interested in new modern versions of vintage computers. So thank you very much, Sean. I'm really happy to have these. And so now let's go ahead and take a look at some resources available for them. So this is Sean's website. It's called aquarius.onestage.com. Well, that's the URL of it. And on this page here, you can see there are links to both the original Aquarius and the Aquarius Plus. Now, Sean has made some amazing developments for these computers. He made a device called the MX, which replicates another device called the Micro Expander, which adds all sorts of incredible capabilities to the original Aquarius computer. It allows you to connect controllers, and it gives it more memory. It allows you to instantly load full screen images. It's amazing. So that's just one of the developments he's made for it, as well as, of course, Sean has developed the Aquarius Plus computer, as well as the Aquarius Plus Mini, with some other people like Frank and Curtis, and probably some others, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's take a look now at this resource. So let's say you're interested in learning about the Aquarius Plus computer or the Aquarius Plus Mini, which you should be. I'll just click on it here, Aquarius Plus. And here you can see the details of the features that this Aquarius Plus computer has, which are going to be the same as for the Aquarius Plus Mini, except for those physical ports we took a look at earlier. So here, let's just take a look at them. It says backwards compatible with original Aquarius, modern VGA video system with bitmapped graphics, sprites and tile maps, which is amazing. Sprites and tile maps on an Aquarius computer is unheard of until now. Dual AY sound chips, virtual, for 6 sound voices, which is amazing. 8-bit DAC, digital to analog converter, 512K of paged RAM in 4 16K banks. So the original Aquarius was released with 4K of RAM, and 2K of that was already used up for the graphics. But this Aquarius Plus has 512K of RAM, which is incredible. Plus, it's got an SD card slot on it, so really your memory is unlimited as long as you're loading data from that slot. Now it says all new sysrom and programmable charrom. Charrom is a character set, so that means you can program your own characters into this computer, finally. SD card storage, which is fantastic. No more saving and loading to audio cassette tapes. Wi-Fi for networking and OTA updates. What does OTA stand for? I don't know what OTA stands for. But anyway, what this means is you can connect to your home network using Wi-Fi, and I've done this, and you can easily update the firmware in your Aquarius Plus or Aquarius Plus Mini computer. So it's very easy. You don't have to download a file, put it on your SD card, and do all that management to try and update your firmware. It's a very easy process to update the firmware, and the process might have changed a bit, but when I did it, it was super easy. And then finally down here it says Bluetooth LE, which is low energy, for modern game controllers, which is what you're going to need to connect a modern controller to the Aquarius Plus Mini, since it has no controller ports on it. So a lot of new enhanced modern features for this thing, and this is where you can learn about them. So here there are some links down below, and some interesting ones you may want to check out is this one here, for example. Click here to buy an Aquarius Plus standard pre-built from eBay. Click here to buy an Aquarius Plus standard PCB from eBay. And here are the minis over here. Click here to buy an Aquarius Plus Mini pre-built. Click here to buy an Aquarius Plus Mini PCB. And then you can also build your own if you want. This is a completely open source project. If you want, you can buy the parts yourself. You can order the PC boards. And I think you can, yeah, it says right here, click here to manufacture an Aquarius Plus standard PCB through PCB Way. Or you can also have them build an Aquarius Plus Mini PCB at PCB Way. Oh, it says coming soon here. So it's amazing. There's all kinds of ways to get your hands on one of these systems. You can get them pre-built. You can get them in, well, not really kit form, but you can order the parts and build your own. Completely open source. And there's more information down here at the bottom. Oh, there's even a link to my previous Aquarius Plus video. and links to some other videos from some others as well. So you can go and check out this Aquarius One Stage site, which is Sean Harrington's site, and check out information about these systems. But that's not all. There's lots more resources available for this thing. Like I told you, there's a very active community around this system, and they're doing active development, and there are plenty of resources available. So let's go to the next one, which is this one here, which is Sean's YouTube channel dedicated to the Aquarius Plus. And here you can watch some videos about the Aquarius Plus. And these cover all sorts of different topics. For example, making an Aquarius Plus through PCBWay. If you want to order the parts through PCBWay and build your own Aquarius Plus. There's a video about the edge connector. Here's one about making an AQ Plus Mini. If you want to learn how to make your own AQ Plus Mini, you can watch this video here, and it'll show you how to make your own Aquarius Plus Mini. Cool. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. And the rest of these we're going to look at are GitHub pages that have a wealth of resources for these computers. And the first one I want to share with you is this one here. This is the One Stage Aquarius Plus GitHub repository, and these are all kind of similar, but I'm going to show them to you individually. So this one is FVDHOEF, which is Frank Vandenhoof right here, and the Aquarius Plus section of this. And this one has links to some useful tools and other things. For example, here's a text to basic tool. If you want to write a basic program using a text editor and then convert it to basic, that's how you do it. Here's another tool for converting a basic program back to text. Here's a folder about music. Lots of useful links and resources in this repository. Let's take a look at another one here. Here is one called Aquarius Plus, and this one is for getting the emulator and firmware updates. So one of the resources that is really useful to have, and really, in my opinion, critical to have when developing for a new system or a new version of a vintage retro system, is an emulator. And there is an emulator for the Aquarius Plus computer, and it's fantastic. So here you can download the emulator for the Aquarius Plus. So when you're developing your own games and programs, you can test them out on the emulator instead of having to transfer them directly to the physical hardware. Or if you just want to play around with the system on its own and try out some of the fantastic features of the Aquarius Plus Basic, then you can do that as well. As well as if you want to update the firmware in your system, here is where you would get it. So here's all the files that you would need. Here is, for example, a zip file for Windows 64. Here's a firmware file up here. So here is some information about how to get the emulator as well as how to update the firmware. All right, the next one I want to show you is a wiki. Here's an Aquarius Plus wiki, and it has information on different topics, CPM, developer, maker, designer. So there's all sorts of different repositories in here depending on what you want to do with this system. Fantastic. Let's bring over another one. It's not over yet. Here is a software development kit section of the repository. And here there are some introductory sections: getting started on Mac OS, getting started on Windows, project makefiles. Here's a technical reference manual we can take a look at. So if I just click on that, you can see there's an overview. There's different sections about the technical capabilities of the Aquarius Plus system, memory map, overlay RAM, banking, all kinds of information, video registers. So you're not left on your own if you want to develop for the system. There's information in the community, there's information online, and this thing is a very capable system. So you can find all the information you need right on these websites. And now let's take a look at the last one I want to show you, which is this one here. It's under Rev Curtis P /Aquarius Plus. And this is about the fabulous plusBASIC programming language that was developed for this Aquarius Plus computer. It has all sorts of powerful commands. It has a turbo mode. It's got all sorts of features and things it can do that are constantly being developed by Curtis. And it's amazing the amount of work he's putting into this thing. It's just fantastic. And so anyway, so this is where you would go to learn about BASIC or plusBASIC. And I'm not sure where, well, here's a README here. Let's take a look at that. Statement and functions. So here's all the statements and functions in Aquarius Plus Basic. Here's a section about operators. Let's see what else it has here. So these are all the commands that plusBASIC uses, and you can see there's a ton of them. There's lots and lots of them. Now I don't know if these are all implemented fully or not. I'm guessing maybe the ones with the check boxes are implemented. Well, yeah, it says right here, not implemented, for example, this one here, because it has no checkbox on it. But like I said, Curtis has been working on this diligently for a long time, and it's amazing the amount of progress we have now and the amount of features in this amazing plusBASIC. So that's incredible, but I want to show you one more thing as well, which is back on one of these pages we took a look at already, which is back here on the software development kit page. Now you can see, for example, this link here that says getting started on Windows. When you click on that, it brings you to a page that gives you instructions for setting up a software development kit that actually allows you to program in C for this computer. And I plan to make a video on that in the near future as well. So you can see right here it says, in this step we're going to install SDCC. And what is SDCC? Well, it says right here, SDCC is a C compiler, assembler, and linker that supports the Z80 processor that is on the Aquarius Plus. So you can even program in C for this Aquarius Plus computer. It's an amazing system. It's got lots of support. It's really well made, and it's a fantastic positive community in the retro computing scene. In the community, you're going to find a lot of resources to help you if you want to program for this thing, if you want to use it. And it's just a really fun community to be involved with, and it's an incredible system. If you're a bedroom coder and you want to start making your own games, or you want to play existing games, or you even want to just download the emulator and start playing around with this system without even having the actual physical hardware, it's amazing, and I really recommend you check it out. So now that we've seen the resources, we've had an overview of the actual hardware, let's take a look now at what it can actually do. So I'm going to just hook it up and get a brief introduction to what comes installed on this system. I'm guessing there are probably already something installed on the SD card. So let's go ahead and power it up now and we'll take a look. Okay, so I'm ready to go ahead and connect up my Aquarius Plus Mini, and I'll just show you what connections we need in order to connect it up. So the first one I'm going to connect is just the one I have in my hand, which is the USB cable for the keyboard. And this goes to, where is it? Here on the back, there is a USB port. So we'll just connect that up. There we go. So the keyboard I'm using is this one here. It's a tiny little, well, relatively small keyboard that I was using for my Sinclair computers. It just says mini keyboard. I don't even remember what brand it is, but it's the very cheap keyboard. I think this was something like $3 literally on the internet. So this is the keyboard that I'm using, and I've just got that connected up now to the USB port. Now the next thing I'm going to connect up is, I think, the audio. So, well, actually, before I connect the audio, let's do the video because I want to show you something there. So the video I'm going to connect is, well, this video connector here. Obviously it goes into the video connector port right there. Very simple. And this connector I have connected to an adapter which is going to convert that VGA signal into HDMI. So I have my HDMI cable right here, and this cable here is just the power for the adapter. And my HDMI adapter also has an input for audio, which is right here. So if I wanted, I could plug this audio cable into the audio output port on my Aquarius Plus Mini, but my adapter and my monitor doesn't support audio, so I'm not going to be using this audio cable that's connected to my HDMI adapter. Instead, what I'm going to do is use a separate audio cable right here, and I'm just going to connect this directly to a speaker. So there's the audio output port right there. I'll just plug that in, and I believe that is stereo output. And then the other end I'm going to just plug into my external speaker here so we can hear some sound. And then finally, the last thing I need to connect, of course, is the power, which is a micro USB connector right here. Just going to make sure this unit is turned off. So when it's, well, how would you describe it? On the left position, so that way is off, and toward the edge of the unit is on. So I'm going to make sure it's off before I plug this in, just to be safe. And they'll go ahead and plug this into this micro USB port right here. There we go. And now our Aquarius Plus Mini is all hooked up and ready to go. So I'll go ahead and capture the screen now, and we'll turn it on, and we'll see what we can do with this Aquarius Plus Mini. Okay, so I'm ready to go ahead and turn on my Aquarius Plus Mini, and I'm a little nervous. I don't know why, but let's go ahead and turn it on. 3, 2, 1. And there's the beep from my speaker, which is a good sign. And there is my startup screen. I'm not sure why my face isn't moving anymore in the video, but that's okay. You don't really need to see my face move as long as you can see the video from the computer. So the colors are changing pretty fast, faster than they normally change on an Aquarius. So that's the first thing I'm noticing. So I'm wondering if this is already in turbo mode. Perhaps, I don't know. Let's press enter or return. And there we go. Copyright 1982 by Microsoft, S3. So it says S3. Normally the ROM version comes up on the boot screen, and the original Aquarius had either an S1 or an S2 ROM. If it had an S1 ROM, then nothing would appear here. If it was an S2 ROM, then S2 would appear. This one is S3, you can see there, so that's good. Aquarius Plus system version 0.26 and plusBASIC version 0.22G. So this is the firmware inside the Aquarius Plus, or the Aquarius Plus Mini in this case, version 0.26, and the plusBASIC version that's installed in this AQ Plus Mini is version 0.22G. Okay, now let's see if I remember any of the commands. I haven't used Aquarius in a while. I need to get back into it. So I think I can do a dir to see what is on the SD card. And there we go. We have several directories here. AQDS, not sure what that is. Cores. So this device can have different cores installed to make it act like different devices. CPM. I don't know anything about CPM. Demos, games, music, net, ROMs, SDK. And here it says autoexec.example. Let's go into one of these directories and see what's in there. So let's first of all go into demos. So CD should be changed directory, and I think I need quotation marks and then the name of the directory, demos. I don't think I need the final quotation. Let's see. Okay, so I think I'm in the demos directory now. Let's find out. dir. Okay, so I'm in the demos directory, and there's a bunch of demo directories in here. So which one might we want to try? How about the top one, animate? CD animate dir. Okay, so we have another directory that's called SCR, which I presume stands for screen, and a run me basic program. So we'll try running the basic program. Run me. I think this should work, but I'll just try it and see if it does. File not found. I guess not. Run me.bas. like that. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, so this is a sample basic program. As you can see on the screen here, this demo shows how a set of SCR files, which are screen files or graphic image files, can be loaded in a repeating cycle to create an animated effect. And I've used this effect in my games that I've made for the regular Aquarius. Note how the activity light flickers with each load. Hold any key to exit. Where's the activity light? Was that on the device itself? Oh, it is. Okay, so you can see, well, probably you can't see here, but anyway, the power LED on the device itself right here that I'm pointing at in my little screen, you probably can't see, but it's flickering very quickly. Yeah, you won't see that in the camera, but this blue LED on the front is flickering very quickly as these images are being loaded onto the screen. So that power light also acts like a kind of a drive activity light, which is cool. All right, press any key to exit. All right, we've exited. Let's see what other demos we have. CD ... should back me out, I think. Okay, now I'm still in the demos directory. RGB Kingdom, what is that? That sounds interesting. CD RGB Kingdom dir run me. Okay, run me.bas. Let's see what this is. Aquarius Computer System RGB Kingdom is an adventure for the Aquarius Plus that involves a priestess searching for her beloved minion throughout the realm. Is that what you call your better half, a minion? Okay, I wouldn't call my wife a minion. Anyway, so she's searching for her beloved minion. Or maybe it actually is a minion and not her spouse. Press any key to view each of the screens. So I haven't actually seen this before. I didn't even know this was a thing. Let's see, is this an actual game or just a demo of what could be a game? Let's see. Press any key to view each of the screens. RGB Kingdom. The pure black priestess adores her dark minion. So you can see these graphics are a bit more advanced than what was available in the original Aquarius using its big ugly bloxels. And this looks like somebody holding a trident. Well, it says right there, the pure white warlock appreciates manual labor. He does. Good for him. The pure red mayor governs with a velvet glove. It looks like he's screaming into the phone there, so I don't know how soft his glove is. Let's see what else we have. The pure blue mayor collects unique melodies. All right. The pure green mayor suffers terrible nightmares. That's a shame. The cyan healer gathers the tactical provisions. And it looks like he or she is putting on rubber gloves to gather those provisions, so they must be toxic of some nature. The amber sage whispers to the snow wolf. So she's a wolf whisperer. The magenta bard weaves the fabric of time. How many different colors are there? Okay, so those are just sample graphic screen images that could be used in an adventure game, I guess. So those are some samples. We'll back out of this. See what other samples we have. Let's try some sounds. I'll go to CD sound. Run me. And this little cheap keyboard actually is pretty good to type on. You wouldn't think that this cheap little keyboard would actually be nice to use, but it actually is not bad. So I actually recommend it. I forget where I ordered it from, but I think it's a common keyboard, but it was very inexpensive, and it's got a very nice feel to it. I'm sure probably many of you are a lot pickier about your keyboards than I am, but I think this has a nice feel to it. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue with this sound demo. and my speaker is on. This program demonstrates the ability of the Aquarius Plus to play up to 6 voices of sound using 2 virtual AY38910 sound chips. Press any key to continue. Let's lower the volume a bit. So that played all 6 sounds, all 6 channels simultaneously, which is really cool. I mean, that's pretty decent sound for a retro computer. All right, let's see where we are here. I think I'll just take a look at one more demo, which is going to be the tile demo. And I don't think that these directory names are case sensitive, so this should work. Yep. And there's our run me, run. And this is really responsive, by the way. I mean, if you've ever used an original Aquarius with its horrible rubber keyboard, this, well, I'm just using this cheap little plastic keyboard, but the cheap little plastic keyboard is a lot more enjoyable to use than the original Aquarius keyboard. And the interface for this computer is very fast. And the image is super sharp. I mean, we're not using RF horrible fuzzy video anymore. This is, it's not what is it? It's not HDMI. It's not true HDMI, but it is super sharp. I mean, you can see on the screen here how it looks. And I'm just using a VGA to HDMI converter, and it looks incredible. For a retro system, it looks awesome. Okay, run me.ba. So this is a BAQ file. It's not a BAS file anymore. So it's not a basic program, I don't think. Anyway, let's run it and see what it does. This program demonstrates the ability of the Aquarius Plus to display high-resolution color tile map graphics along with sprites. Sprites on an Aquarius? Okay. Press any key to continue and use arrow keys or control pad. Well, I don't have a control pad connected yet, but I will in a moment, to move the main character around the screen. You must control plus escape to exit the demo once running. Control escape. Okay, so I need to use arrow keys. Okay, let's press a key and see what happens. Tile demo loading. Okay, so let's see, do the arrow keys move? I don't know how to. So I don't think the arrow keys on my keyboard are probably matching the arrow keys that I'm supposed to be using. But you can see this screen with these sprites and animations and tile movement in the background. It's a lot better than you would see on the original Aquarius, obviously. So this is amazing. This is just an example of the type of graphics we can now do with the Aquarius Plus and the Aquarius Plus Mini. Like I said, the Mini version has exactly the same capabilities as the Aquarius Plus, as far as I know. It's just missing the physical ports for the cartridge connector and the controller connectors and the audio cassette tape player connectors, which none of which we really need anymore. So I'm going to stop this. All right. And we'll just take another brief look at what we have here. Okay, so we have demos, games, music. Let's take a look at the music directory. CD music. It's really nice interface. It's really responsive. Okay, and I'm not sure how to play these exactly, but let's just go into, let's say, songs 4. Songs 4. Let's see what's in here. So these are all PT3 files. I need a PT3 player to play them. And I don't know if that, well, I guess that PT3 player plays it. I'm not sure how to run that AQX file right here. This must be obviously the player. Let's see if I can just run it. I don't know. Run PT3 player.aqx. Yeah, okay, there. So let's try number 3 for songs 4 directory. Oh, 0. 0 to Z, select file. Return equals directory up. Okay, I'm not sure how to get into those directories. Okay, so I don't know how to use this interface exactly. So we'll do something else. Let's go into the games. Well, let's go into the ROMs directory and see what this comes with. CD ROMs. Alright, so there's some ROMs here you could run. I'm not sure how to run them, but I see a run me file there. Let's try that out. Run me.bas. BAS. This folder is for storing your original Aquarius cartridge ROMs. Okay. To preserve the intellectual property of the original developer, other ROM files are not included with Aquarius Plus. Okay, so we won't run any ROMs. I don't think there are any ROMs. Are there? Okay, so let's, well, there's a turmoil ROM. I'm going to back out of here. And we'll go into, I'm just curious what's in the SDK folder, so let's take a look. SDK stands for Software Development Kit. And there's an ASM, which stands for Assembly, and CB, I don't know what CB is, let's just see what it is. Okay, not sure what that is. We'll back out. And we'll go into the ASM folder, just to see if there's anything recognizable in there. Examples and include, CD. Let's go into the examples. And I probably can't run them directly from here, but let's take a look. Hello.asm. Okay, so there's an assembly program there. I don't know how to run that. I don't know. I doubt I can just run it, but I'll try. I don't expect it to work, but I'll try running it. Hello.asm. Oh, maybe it did work. I guess that was to display this screen. Okay, let's back out. Back out again. And I think I can just go like this to get to the very top. Alright, let's go into the games folder and see what we have there. And I see something that looks familiar, which is my SpriteWorks directory. Let's head in there. SpriteWorks. And okay, I have two games in here. Dungeon Quest and Zorlak's Revenge. Neither of these can be run from the keyboard, so luckily I just happened to receive my Xbox controller while I was making this video. So let's switch back to the other screen and we'll give it a try. We'll try pairing it up and see how it works. Alright, so let's go ahead and unbox my controller here. Okay. And I'm guessing and hoping that these controllers come already with a bit of charge in them. So there it is. I'm not going to read any instructions or anything. Oh, it comes with batteries, so I guess it's not rechargeable. I guess I use batteries. Okay, that's fine. All right. Although it has a port here, so does that mean, is that for charging? I don't know. So here's a battery port on the back. I'll just open it up. Okay, it's got battery port there. All right, replace my battery door. All right, so I've got my Xbox controller ready to go now. I've put in the batteries, and I've got my Aquarius Plus Mini ready to go as well. And the first step is to turn on the Aquarius Plus, so I'll go ahead and do that. So the Aquarius Plus Mini is turned on now, and the next step is to turn on my Xbox controller by pressing this round button here. Okay, now it's on. Then it says press the little pair button on the back of the controller until the Xbox button starts flashing rapidly. So back here there's a button, little pair button. I'll just press that until it starts flashing rapidly. There. Now it's flashing rapidly. And now it says within a few seconds the Xbox button will stop flashing, indicating the controller is paired and ready to be used. So we'll go ahead and see if this stops flashing. The blue LED on the Aquarius Plus Mini is solid, and this Xbox controller button is still flashing. So I'm not sure if there's something else I need to do, or maybe I need to update the firmware in this. Hopefully this controller is actually compatible with the computer. So I think it should have paired by now. And I'm going to go ahead and do some research and see what, if anything, I can do to get this working. And then I'll come back and let you know what I find out. So stick around and we'll see how this goes. All right, so here we are on the GitHub page that has the Aquarius Plus user guide, and on here there is a section right here. Can I zoom in here? Yep. So over here you can see there's a link labeled Bluetooth. So let's go ahead and click on that, because I know that the controller connects using Bluetooth. And when we click on there, let's take a look. It says your Aquarius Plus has built-in Bluetooth 4 support, also known as Bluetooth LE. Devices using older Bluetooth technology, for example version 3, are not able to connect to the Aquarius Plus. Keep this in mind when selecting peripherals for your Aquarius Plus. For instance, many Bluetooth keyboards only support version 3, and as such are not compatible with the Aquarius Plus. At this moment, the Aquarius Plus can only connect to Xbox controllers, but in a future update, support for other peripherals will be implemented. I thought I saw somewhere that some older Xbox controllers may be able to have their firmware updated, which may allow them to connect to this as well, but don't take my word for that. But I thought I read something about that, so if you do happen to have an old Xbox controller, I would probably try updating the firmware on that before buying a new one, just to see if it works. But let's go ahead here and see what we need to do to connect this up. It says using an Xbox Series S/X controller with the Aquarius Plus, and that's what I have here. This should be a Series X or S controller. I don't know, one of the two. I'm not really familiar with Xboxes, but it said on the Amazon ad that this is X compatible with S/X, whatever that means. Okay, so it says your Aquarius Plus has built-in Bluetooth support, which enables it to connect to an Xbox controller. The Xbox controller can be used wirelessly and will act as if connected to the Aquarius Plus control pad port 1. So the Aquarius computer normally has two controller ports associated with it, port 1 and port 2. So when you use a Bluetooth controller, it will act as if it's plugged into port number 1. The left analog stick and D-pad will function as the disc on the original controller. The A, B, X, Y, etc. buttons will function as the 6 buttons on the original controller. Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory. The first time you want to use the controller, you have to pair it. So in order to pair it, we have to turn on the Aquarius Plus, turn on the controller by pressing the round Xbox button, press the little pair button on the back of the controller until the Xbox button starts flashing rapidly. And then within a few seconds, the Xbox button will stop flashing, indicating the controller is paired and is ready to be used. That's pretty simple. To turn off the Xbox controller, press and hold the Xbox button for about 6 seconds. Next time you want to use the controller, you don't have to pair it again. It will automatically connect to your Aquarius Plus when turned on. Cool. If you've used your Xbox controller with another system, you will need to use the pairing function again. So I don't use it with another system, so that won't be a problem for me. Okay, using an Xbox One controller. Only Xbox Series SX controllers support Bluetooth LE out of the box. Oh, this must be where I read it. The older Xbox One controllers only support Bluetooth LE after updating its firmware. To update your firmware, please follow the guide on this link. After updating your controller, the controller should be able to pair in the same way as an Xbox Series SX controller. Okay, cool. So if you have an Xbox One controller, then you should be able to use that as well. Cool. Okay. So I haven't been able to get it to pair yet. So what I'm going to do is try uploading or updating the firmware on my controller by, first of all, downloading the Xbox Accessories app. Okay, and it looks like it's downloaded. Alright, so I think I'm installing this Xbox Accessories app now. So I'm just going to see if updating the firmware on this controller helps me pair it successfully to the Aquarius Plus Mini. Alright, so after a long afternoon of trying to get this working, it turns out I needed to update, well, it looks like I need to update the firmware in my Xbox controller. Even though I thought it would work out of the box, it turns out that it probably doesn't. Some newer controllers may be able to sync up right out of the box, but mine doesn't. Maybe it's an older model. So I'm going to try updating the firmware, and it took a long time to get to this point because my computer was having a lot of trouble being able to install and use the software that I need in order to update the firmware in this controller, which shouldn't be that difficult. All you should need to do is go to the Microsoft Store and download this accessory called Xbox Accessory, and you can do that either at the Xbox Store website, or sorry, the Microsoft Store website, or you can do it from within the app on the computer. But for whatever reason, it just kept hanging when I tried to install it and use it. It would just spin around endlessly, or it would say that it's trying to download information from the Microsoft Store, and it just pretty much hung there forever. So I just kept fooling around with it and trying different things, and I installed the Microsoft Xbox app, and then it seemed like after I signed in using the Xbox app, now it seems to be working. So it got me to this point where I have the option now to update this controller, and so I'm going to try that now. It says up here firmware revision 5.9.2709.0. so I'm going to try to update it now, and we'll see what happens. Before we start, we are about to update your controller. Keep it near, don't move it during the update, and keep any attached devices connected to your controller. Make sure that the USB cable is firmly plugged in. Continue. Updating. Controller update is in progress. Don't move the controller, and make sure the USB cable and any connected devices stay firmly attached. Okay, good. So now it's applying the update, and I'm optimistic that this is going to let me actually sync it up with the Aquarius Plus Mini and also the Aquarius Plus, because I haven't, since I just received this controller today, I haven't even tried connecting it to the regular Aquarius Plus computer, except for today. I did try to do that today, and it also would not sync up. So I'm going to let this finish updating, and then we'll come back and we'll continue on from there. 91%, so we're almost there. 93, 94, 95, 99, 100. Okay, so it's finished updating the controller firmware, and let's see what happens now. Updated. Okay. Alright, so I think I'm done. Now I'm going to try to sync this up with the Aquarius Plus Mini now, and hopefully this time it will work. Okay, so we'll come back in a moment and we'll give it a try. Alright, so as you just saw, I had to update the firmware in my Xbox controller, and the way I did that was to use a USB cable to connect the controller to my Windows PC, and then I had to install the Microsoft Xbox Accessories app, and I also had to install an Xbox app and sign into that, and then the Accessories app let me update the firmware in my controller. So now we're going to try to connect the Xbox controller to the Aquarius Plus Mini, which has been patiently waiting for this Xbox controller to connect to it. So first I'm going to power on the AQ Plus Mini, and there it started up, and now the blue LED is on. It's kind of hard to show that on camera here, but take my word for it, it's on. There, you can see it. Okay, so we have this bright blue LED on. The Aquarius Plus Mini is turned on, and now let's go ahead and turn on the Xbox controller, and it's flashing slowly, and if I press this pair button on the back until it starts flashing quickly, there, it's flashing quickly, and we'll see if it pairs up this time. There, stop flashing. So now it should be paired up with my Aquarius Plus Mini. And so now what we're going to do is go back into the Aquarius Plus Mini and start up a game, and we'll see if we can play it using this Xbox controller. Alright, so we're back in the start screen for the Aquarius Plus. I'll press return, and there we go. Let's go ahead and do a directory listing, and we'll go into the games directory, CD games, and another directory listing. So I'm going to go into my directory for SpriteWorks, just like that. Oh, there's two directories here. Okay, Zorlak's Revenge and Dungeon Quest. Let's go into the Zorlak's Revenge directory. Zorlak's, that's a long directory name. B-E-N-G-E, okay. Okay, and then there's a zorlak.baq file here, and let's run that. BAQ. Okay. There's my start screen. And now we can hear the Zorlak music, and it says press joystick button to begin, and that would be normally the #1 button on the Aquarius controller. I'll just turn this down a bit. So I think that is, I'm not sure which button that is. A, I'll try A. I'll try pressing the A button here. And it works, okay. So now let's see if the D-pad works to go up and down the menu. And it does, look at that. Cool. And I think this stick should also work, which it does. Well, that's awesome. Okay, so now let's go into the game up here, and we'll press the A button again to start the battle. Press button. Okay, now let's see, can I move around here? Yes, I can. Cool. Go. Okay, I'm not doing very well at my own game. But it does work, and it works really well. That's cool. And this game is actually much better in turbo mode. This is just the regular mode. I didn't actually know there was a turbo mode when I made this game, but now that I know there's a turbo mode, it will operate much faster. So I should probably reprogram it for turbo mode, which is very simple. It's just a one command that I have to insert to make it run at twice the speed. But cool, so now we can use an Xbox controller with our Aquarius Plus Mini. Cool. So there we go. We've taken a look at the Aquarius Plus Mini computer, which is a modern day recreation of the original Aquarius computer, and it's a much enhanced and improved version of the Aquarius computer. It has sprites, and it has tiles, and it has AY sound chips, and it has a new version of plusBASIC it's called, and it has all sorts of capabilities that are perfect for making games. So if you're interested in doing a little game development, then I really suggest you check out the Aquarius Plus and the Aquarius Plus Mini now. If you like a more compact design, it works fantastically with this Xbox controller, as we just saw. And so if you want a very compact, very cool, very fun little modern retro computer, then I highly recommend you check out the AQ Plus Mini or Aquarius Plus Mini or the original Aquarius Plus. So two fantastic options for you to really get into retro computing, and it's a great community, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun if you get involved with this. So I hope you enjoyed watching today's video, And feel free to head over and check out the Facebook groups for the Aquarius and the Aquarius Plus, and I'll put links to the reference material and resources that I mentioned down below in the video description. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.